Um, yeah, this is the game how it is right now, and well, you've seen basically everything from the tweets me and Leather have made. This is just like a test room that I've done for adding all the new stuff in. So yeah, I've done basically everything, and I've just realized there is a bit of an issue here because I have a second window here that you're not gonna see unless I have it like right in the open, so I might have to like rearrange some stuff. Yeah, that is the SMG. I just have the other player in this room, so when I'm testing it's like compatible with all of them. Okay, actually forgot about the secondary window, so I'm gonna try to rearrange the UI here so it's more readable for everyone. You don't really need to see the console, so I'll have that away. The animator and the animation I will switch over, because I will be doing some of those. Actually, usually I have them down here, and this one up there. Okay. And I'm gonna have to lower the window so I can actually read the chat. I wish this was like just having Psy open and drawing, but what can you do? Have it like over there, and the chat like next to it. Oh man, this is a mess. Hi and good luck. Yeah, thank you. I'll get some music going in a second. I just need to get this set up. Yeah, okay, so I have the console and everything, and that should be okay. It's not covering up the chat too much. Maybe I can move the chat like up above the stream preview, like that. Okay, yeah, this is more manageable. Okay. So, once again to say, like what I've already done before I started streaming, all I've done is import the sprites that Leather did into the game assets, and I'm gonna be doing all the like importing this separating the sprites and making the animations and all that. I'm gonna make just do that, all of that on stream. So yeah, this is probably like confusing to anyone who hasn't used Unity before, so I apologize. This isn't gonna be like a basic tutorial. Yeah, I will turn on some music in the background in a second. I just want to like go over everything. So yeah, the animations, the sprites, I'm not sure how much coding I'm gonna do, because this game is being done in a way that a lot of the scripts can be recycled. So I'm hoping to at least just attach a script and have it work and have that be the end of it. But yeah, with that out of the way, I think we can start actually doing some work here. So I need to move this sprite editor thing here as well. Let me put on some music now. I think this is gonna pick up the ticker's gonna pick up this tab. Yeah, okay. Let's just skip over to something else. Yeah, okay. Let me know if it's like too loud or something. Okay, so in the graphics, I've imported them to be in the characters section, and I'll start with the camera heads, because those are the easiest ones. And actually for all of them, I'm going to set, actually this should not be like over here like that. It should be covered this part here should be getting cut off here, but it's not. Let me just like get this like over here, and maybe I can get this window to like snap correctly, or I can just like set the default UI. But this should be possible. I'm not sure what the deal with this is. It's kind of annoying to work with the snapping like that. Okay, yeah, this is what I want. Oh my god, okay. It's all like falling apart right now. I have to put this UI back the way it was when I'm done as well. Okay, we can work with this. This is fine. So for all of these sprites they use, their pixels per unit is 27, which is like the resolution of like a normal tile in this game. Not seeing anyone say anything, so I'm guessing the music is fine. And I want this to be, yeah, RGBA 32-bit. And with this, the sprites can be arranged pretty easily. And it has to be multiple because there's multiple sprites in one of those sheets. Okay. And now in the sprite editor part is where we will get those sprites from as singular images. So I could do automatic, but I think when Leather was doing the stream, he specifically made them 27 by 27. I'm gonna see if that's true. So 27, 27, okay, no, it's twice that resolution. So it's gonna be 40, that's 54. Right, yeah. 54 by 54. That looks fine. Yeah, okay. There's just 4 of them. Do you know the differences between Unity 2D and 3D? Because something like Shovel Knight was done in a 3D environment, but I work on some stuff. Well, since you asked, I can show you, because this game uses a similar system to Shovel Knight, in that the camera is actually a perspective camera. If I go out of 2D here, this doesn't look like much, but the background is actually made to be a fixed distance from the camera while still maintaining the same size. So if I go in the background layers, I can set the work in edit mode to be, that's actually kind of loud, let me just lower that. It's actually a distance from the camera. And if I change the perspective a little bit, you can see that the layers are actually physically away from the camera. By default in edit mode this is disabled, so it's easier to place them on the tile set. But if I go into the game from the scene, the camera kind of the scenes sort of change position, and as you can see they are actually physically from a different distance. This is one way to do parallaxing in Unity. Another way is to just have a script that moves the background at a different speed than everything else. But yeah, this is kind of an easier way to do backgrounds without pixel art. I tend to prefer to use this method because it's much easier to make like moving backgrounds for it, and also you can take advantage of Unity's like perspective camera out of the box without needing to like fiddle with it too much. But yeah, I was doing the sprites, so let's get back to that. So these camera heads, they seem to not really have a different pivot all that much. Okay, yeah, I did hit apply for that one. And for each of these, I'm gonna have to make this the same as before. So that was 54, if I remember right. There we go. It's okay, hi PK. Sometimes you can copy like the sprite data from one of these files into other sprite sheets by just getting the meta file from the game files and copying the data that's in that file onto the meta file of the objects you want to paste this to. But in case of these, when it's just like 4 sprites, it's faster to just do it like this. Hello Oomfies. God damn it. Okay, I didn't set the settings on this one, but it's gonna be the same as the other one. So it's 27 multiple. I don't really need a physics shape because I'm gonna be using a collider for these anyway. So that's not needed. No compression and RGBA 32. Okay, and with this one, it's gonna be a little bit different. I have to like select this manually and see what the size of these is. It looks like it's also 54 by 54, so I'm just gonna set it to that. So okay, 54, 54, and that does look a little bit off center. But that's the way he drew them, so that should be fine. So that's 18 and 20. If we do it like this, that should cover both of them. $20 and $20, but that I still have like some space here. Only this one is like touching the corner, but it's fine. I can set it like this. So now if you look down here, I think you can see it on the capture. Yeah, okay. I think I should move the chat somewhere else because it's like in a weird spot. Actually down here is fine. I don't really see a better place for this. But yeah, if you look down here, now these sprites are separate images, and this is actually what I'm going to be using for the game. If I go back and forth, you can sort of tell how the boiling's gonna look like. It's kind of weird because this eye stays in place and the other one does not. I feel like I should kind of move the pivot of one of these a little bit. So I'm gonna move that and move this to the one to the right a little bit. Let me see. Okay. Is the pivot actually doing anything here? I think the pivot actually, that's more of what the sprite is gonna look like instead of this preview, because the, yeah, I shouldn't be checking that. Go back to center and then go back to custom, move it to the side just 1 pixel. Just sit in one room with your deaf friends. Yeah, Ladder's actually next to me and he's very quiet. Okay, so the camera. The closest thing I can think of is well, I can think of the ghost enemy being similar, but just for the sake of the structure being similar, I'm gonna go with the ghost enemy, and I'm gonna transform that one into our camera head. Oh, he's big. Wait, I have to go back into 2D mode so this shit doesn't happen. And here we are. So I can unpack this prefab first of all. And when I assign this object, I want it to go into objects instead of enemies, because every object that is inside the enemy's like main in the enemy's parent object, that's gonna count towards the like completion percentage. It just basically uses the count of the enemies under this parent to determine how many enemies are on the scene. Okay, now I have to get rid of the behavior and the adapters. So they will have animations, I'm pretty sure. I'm doing the camera hits, by the way, if that wasn't clear. So they have an idle and they have a shooting animation, and that's all they have, it looks like. So making an animator for these probably not gonna be too difficult. Where's my ghost? There it is. I'll just rename this to the camera head just right now. I'm gonna do one type, and basically every other type's gonna be like a skin of the other one. So let's set the ghost to none, because I don't want that to be used. Okay, so we have a bullet source and the renderer. I want to keep the bullet shooter, and this is the trigger collider. That's gonna be for normally that's for hurting the player, but for now that's not gonna be needed. Alright. Enemy global stats. Well, I'm not gonna be needing that one as well, because no HP, no world type is needed for this one. Rigid body. I'm not actually sure about that one, but I'll have the layer be default on this one. So I do need the bullet source. I do need the bullet shooting script. So I'll keep all of those in there. And this trigger collider I also don't need. And since this is not a physical, this is also a trigger. Okay, and with that out of the way, I can set this render sprite to be a camera. Okay, and that's kind of off-center, but I think that's fine. Alright, let's do this. So, when you create an object, when you create a script in Unity, you can do it by going down here to add component and new script. But what that does is it creates a script in the root folder here, and as far as I know there's no way to change that, so I'm gonna do that over in my own designated folder. I'm gonna create a C# script, and this is just going to be called, I guess, camera head behavior, just so it's not confused with the actual game camera. And now, while this is compiling, I can open this up. And boy, here we go. So I have to put this like in full screen as well. Right, so we can drag this onto our object here. And before this is made prefab, I can move this all the way up, so it's easy to see. Put the animator down. Assign to objects is less important, so that's gonna be at the bottom. And before I actually do anything, I need to make the animations for this. And for that, I want to see actually what the speed of the animation is for the normal ghost. I'm talking about the boiling here specifically. So I can spawn another ghost object inside the animation. I can look at his specific animations in here. So it looks like it's 15. Looks about fine. I should actually use this with an enemy that actually has boiling frames. So the skull, for example, is being born from, I can't even pronounce that. Play the levels so far with the grayscale and see if it's still somewhat readable. Yeah, sure. So normal. Okay, so the frame rate for that is 10, and that looks fine. So what I can do is to copy these sprites. I can also copy the position and the scale, I suppose. But I mostly want to copy the position in case like moving the camera up and down like that looks nice. So let's go to the camera head, and here we will create a new animation clip. Okay, so assets, and this is gonna be in graphics, characters, animations, cam head idle. I'll copy the prefix for the other one. So 10, and I can paste the movement here. What's this by default? It's 0. Okay, so I want this to be at 0 because there's no need for the height offset here. Divide that by 2. See how that looks. I think I should like have this little movement here. Hello Chromio. Let me see how many people are actually watching. 9 viewers, that's pretty nice. Let's create a second animation for firing. So camhead underscore shoot. Let's have this be at 10 as well. I'll get the position here as well. Okay, so for the render now, these are both boiling frames, so I will get those two and have them go between each other like that. Is this too fast? Seems a little... There's a change in size here is a little bit weird. Doesn't look like it's... The sprites don't seem to be causing a problem when it comes to wrapping the animation, at least. Yeah, it's fine. Just a little bit strange. So there's two frames for this. There's this, and that's the recoil, I believe. Flap his arms. Okay, can do that. So this is kind of raw, like this. You can, like with this skull shoot animation, I gave it a bit of squashing and stretching. So I'm gonna try to do a similar thing for the camera head. So I'm gonna use the normal idle animation first. It's Basia. Maybe. Okay, so I might need to increase the sample rate on this one, because shooting is a very quick action. Okay, so I'm gonna have this kind of pull back while it in its default frame, like this. I have to switch over on this one and make it stretch forward a little bit here, and then we'll go back to its normal position and scale on this last frame. So the shooting should be actually the quicker part. So like this, and sprite should switch over here. This be increase the sample rate some more, maybe. I guess this should be less intense, because that looks like a secondary shooting. Okay. It's probably be better if I didn't have this loop so okay, and maybe I should have this be here and change it in the middle of the pullback. Yeah, that looks fine. Sony Vegas animation editing, yeah. Okay, so we have the shooting animation. I think that's fine. Okay, now in the animator, I need to actually get this open. This is the same way I've done all the other ones. So I'm gonna have one integer value here called status. This idle one, I want this to loop. Should one, no. And actually, I think I should actually, instead of status, I can just get away with a trigger that says shoot, because I want the animation to switch back as soon as it can. So, right defaults, enable that, and for the return animation, just have it go back after the animation is finished. There we go. And for the other way around, have no exit time and have it activate when the shoot trigger is sent out. I'm presuming Leather wants me to do this in a way that they just shoot continuously and not just when the player is in the line of sight. If not, I mean, I can do both of them because the plants operate this way. Just auto shoot, okay. So we have the animator, we have the states. I need to rearrange the bullet source because that's not where this is supposed to come from. Over here, possibly. Okay, the bullet shooter is a boomerang bullet. I wanted this to be, this is supposed to just be the regular red ones, right? Fire rate, let me look up what the script is like again. Auto shoot whether you're there or not, okay. Okay, this is Isaac. So shoot with or without direction, impact, aim. So I can't just have a call out for this, make a link for this script in my camera hit behavior. Okay, I see what I'm doing now. So first of all, I think this is something Rory added to my music playlist. Because I've never heard this before. That's okay, that's amazing. So first of all, let me define all the stuff. So definitely need an animator, definitely need the bullet shooter. The fire rate can be done. I will have the fire rate be actually in the camera head behavior script, because the animation of shooting is not the actual moment it's gonna be shooting. So public float fire rate, let's make that 0.5 maybe. Outstanding music, yeah. Yeah. Hope I don't get my VOD muted for this, but who cares, it's a dev stream. So let's go do a method that's called the shooting loop. And let me get something else for this. I need the object enabler script as well. And before I go any further, oh, this is something I think I added. Okay. So check if this actually will pick up the activator for on-screen objects. It has a rigid body, so it should, but I'm gonna test it without it as well. Okay, just move this to the side here. So it's not actually. Well, is it? Let me check the debug on here. It is getting enabled, but then it's getting disabled. It is active here. Huh. Okay. And in classic Unity fashion, it works the second time around. Let's remove the rigid body and see if it still works. It should, and it does. Okay. These girls are hollow, oh lord. That's good, I don't need the rigid body here, that makes things a little bit more optimized. Gonna go walk bench BRB, okay. So we have our camera and we have our animation, they work. Get rid of this spreading. And this is gonna be the actual part of the script that's doing the shooting. Before I get to that though, this is gonna be toggled by a function that gets triggered every half a second. So invoke repeating shooting loop. Zero, because we don't want, well actually I do want delay, I want the fire rate delay, and then also repeat every half second. I'll be back, okay. And then on disable, this is talking about this script in particular being disabled. Cancel invoke shooting loop, because we don't want this thing to continue looping even when the initial script for it is well, the object is off screen. Basically, it will only shoot when the when the object is on the scene. So it is currently spamming the console. You actually should show the console for this. So you can see it's activating every half second, and half second is a little bit of a short time for this. So I'll bump this up to maybe 2 seconds. Okay, so we have this, we have the fire rate, and just for the sake of the default value being correct, I'll set this to 2 seconds as well. Okay, so we have this start method, and instead of that, I'm going to have an init function. Oh, wait a second. Right, so an init function is what's going to be called instead of start, and this is going to be called, this is going to basically define what the animator and the bullet shooter are. So animator is simple because I just need to get the component that this script is a part of. So animator, and the bullet shooter is a child object. So I have to do transform get child 0, get component bullet shooter. What is this music? Yeah. This is Fall Guys. Okay. So bullet shooter. Everything seems fine. And the reason I'm doing this in an init function instead of the start function that's like built into Unity is on enable activates before start. It actually activates first. So if I invoked repeating here, that might cause errors. So what I'm gonna do is do if anim is null. So if it's just an empty object, then I want this to do init. Otherwise, just go right into the shooting loop. So now that we have this, since this is getting triggered when we wanted to actually shoot, then it's going to, then in the animator, I'm going to do set trigger, and that was shoot. And now if I go into the game, I should have the camera shoot every 2 seconds. And yeah, it does. And I can do one more thing, just for the sake of the animator being consistent. Had this in the skull behavior. Oh, no, this was in the ghost one, yeah. These 2 lines. This will basically reset the animator when it's off screen. Have this be here. So reset the animator, so if you left the screen while the camera was in the middle of the shooting animation, when you come back, it's not going to be in the middle of that shooting animation, it's going to be in the idle animation. And all the triggers that might be set will be reset. So now let's get to the actual shooting part of this. And that's going to be a that's gonna actually be called by the animation. So I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make a comment here that's called, that says by animation, and that's gonna be a public void or function. And now I have to go back to the actual animation for this. And the actual shooting is going to happen on this frame. It's over here. So when it reaches this spot in the animation, that's when the actual shooting part of the shooting animation is going to come into play. So let's do bullet shooter.shoot. And the shoot event was, I think that's just a delegate. Yeah, that's, don't worry about that. I don't need to call that. Did I set the fire rate on this one to 0? I did. Okay. Let's save this. There's two things I need to test here. So first of all, does it shoot? It does shoot, but in the opposite direction. If I flip it, is it still in the same direction? I see, okay. So, right, okay. So I need to basically reverse the direction. Let's make this a local value, because cameras are not going to be flipping directions during the game. So is this like, this use a float, so let's make this a float direction. And that's going to be the transforms local X position, but flipped. And now if I do it, it should be shooting in the correct direction. Yeah, now it's shooting in the right direction. So that's fine. The height that it shoots at, because of its pivot, is a little bit strange. Maybe I should lower this actually to be like here and adjust the animations accordingly. Set this to 0 point, like a 0 even is fine. Let's negative 0.1. Yeah, that's more in line with the actual tile. Let's keep this Y position the same. Okay. And just to make sure, I can flip this and check if it does, if it works. Yeah, so it shoots in the right direction. That is our first camera. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done with this. I can just check if it actually stops shooting off screen. It doesn't look like it's shooting. I wanna see if, like, in the middle of shooting, does it cause problems? Doesn't look like it is. Yeah, okay, that was a good one. The ring seems fine. So that's one camera ahead. Let me see, just see if they deal damage. They shouldn't, because the script for them is not there. I'm guessing they're not supposed to. I'm actually not sure, I just assumed they wouldn't deal damage. If they do, I can add this as a script. Okay, let me see. Now it should deal damage if I touch it. Okay, but now I can shoot it, which is a problem. By default, it's gonna be true. And if it can't take damage, then just terminate the script here. So there's no need to consider what happens when a bullet touches the object. Yeah. Can't be shot. It does not block the bullets. I don't know if they should block the bullets. Since Leather is here, he can elaborate on that. Are they meant to deal damage to the player, and are they meant to block the bullets? Probably could. Okay, so I can just move this to down here, and now it should destroy the bullets. Let's move this to back into the main frame. Let's maximize. Yeah, now the camera is blocking the bullets. Just doesn't deal any damage, obviously. I think that's fine for the camera head. Let me see how long I've been streaming. Under an hour, that's fine. So now the other three camera heads. So in the prefabs, I have enemies. I'm gonna make a new folder and call it obstacles. And I'm gonna make this a prefab object. And now to make a secondary camera head. So the way I'm gonna do this is, instead of making a whole new object for this, I'll swap a few things around. So this one, this is the boomerang camera head. So I'll rename this to a boomerang camera head. Boomerang. Okay. And for this, I'm gonna use this script I made called sprite skin. It's this one. And now I can grab the sprites that are from this one. Set these. And for the overwrite ones, and this is a similar system I used in Cheetah when I was making the power-ups for Cheetah. This is basically the same thing. It basically overwrites what sprite is being rendered. If I go on this play it in game, it's just the skin that's overlaid here. And this one needs to be the boomerang one. So if I flip this, it should just shoot the boomerang sprite. Huh. Oh wait, I think I flipped, yeah, I flipped the render thing and not the actual main part of this. Is this, let me, it's going downwards. Is this, what is this tracking, I wonder? Yeah. I want to see if that's the deal with all of them, or if it was just this, okay, I see. I'm not sure why it's going down. I think that bullet is tracking something specifically. Move to target. If I disable that, is this gonna still... Okay, no. Okay, there's something I need to fix here. And for the camera head, I'm gonna do a public okay, and for this there's gonna be a condition. If flipped is set to true, then it's gonna be -1, otherwise 1. And for this boomerang camera head, this is gonna be set to false. Let's flip this again. Okay. These should render over like walls, right? Like, have them be somewhere like over the walls. This one at least specifically, I think it should be. Let's see what the layer that this one is on. It's on 2, so this one should be on 3. Since these can shoot through walls, I think it makes sense for them to be over the walls. And it looks better when they come back into the camera head as well. Okay, so I'm gonna have this be like that, and when I save this, I'm gonna make this, not do that, I'm gonna make this a prefab variant. Basically means it's a child of the main camera head. So if I make any changes to that main one, they're gonna carry over to the other ones. And the last one was the splitting one, right? That was the one that like splits when it touches the floor. Cone, yeah. Enemies. First of all, I need another one of the main ones, and I need a dark skull. 'Cause that's the one that uses those those bullets. Enemy splitter bullet. And the red bullet impact. Okay, hey, hello, PK. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to like do with those because, well, the camera's not gonna be like rotating towards the player, right? That's not what you're trying to do. In the meantime, I can set up this skin again. And while I'm here, replace this. Making them shoot down, yeah. That seems reasonable. They are most effective when they shoot down. So let's rotate them 90 degrees. I'm not sure if this is gonna shoot in the direction I'm pointing. Okay, no. It does work. This should be the splitter camera head. Yeah. This one should be rendered under the walls because it uses that. At this one, but this part is supposed to be the one that's rotated. Okay, yeah, that's fine. If I make them aimed upwards, I think this is gonna be fine, work fine as well. Yeah, so up and down is fine. It's just like the actual left and right is gonna be a problem because these only split left and right. So you can have them flip using the X value as well. The camera babies are born. Okay, hello LTL. Okay, so that's our third camera. Let's save this as a prefab variant. Now let's have all three of the boys together. So one here. Let's use this room up here. Like on that little nub there, let's have that. And this one, let's place it here. Let's have it aimed this way and have it be like over here. It's an annoying little like trap too, because you can't do anything to them. And this one, since it can be inside walls, it's gonna be here. Put them in there. It's enabled. And okay, I see they are still enabled despite me not entering that room. I'm gonna have to fix that. Let's go in here. Okay. Well, that's fun. Okay. So they need to be disabled when I load the room. And I think that's something I can set from the spawn script. Trash bug adapter. I know I did dealt with that some of these other enemies. Like if I place this here and load the game, it's loads up as disabled. So let me just check exactly what I did to make this happen. I don't think it was this one. I think it was was it the generic one? I could easily check by just doing a little callback. What the fuck? Shoot projectiles that have infinite range rather than short range. I can make a new bullet type and have it do that, but that's in a second. Because first I need to like do this and print what causes this exactly to have this despawn, because I forgot how I did this. Okay. That's the despawn one. I need the other one. Should make sure this is the spawn one. This music is like very questionable. Is this like the rat thing still? Oh yeah, I think because this starts as disabled, so I think that's not really what I'm looking for. In it, that's not it. Ah, okay. This is what I was looking for. So spawn, start. I'll have this actually do with this on start. The function void start. And that's gonna be object enabler, right? That's what I need. So enemy hit, and yeah, that's fine. The object enabler is here. If active spawn false. Very questionable, yeah. That's what it is. Now the camera start as disabled. That's just something I needed to just add. And you want those ones to just shoot projectiles that never run out. I mean, the way I can do that is just make the bullet life like 10 seconds. It's gonna be basically the same type. I swear to God, Rory. Make this 5 seconds. Long life, and make this a variant. Fuck, they were waiting for this to happen too. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the long life one. Apply this to the prefab. Let's see how this works now. I'll remove the tiles from this map and have it travel all the way. Yeah, it's fine. Cool. That's the camera heads then. Haven't drank anything since the stream started. Now the other guy's gonna be a problem. Not because of the animations, but because of the chain components. Okay, thanks. Get rid of them because I don't really need them here. Neither do I this trash bug. Move him up here, let him live there. And now for the mace obstacles. This one I can't really use anything that already exists. So what I need to do is make a new object. Mace. Move this thing over here. Then mark this actually, so I can see where the center point of this is. And just like before, I'm gonna have this be default. I'm gonna make a box collider. That's the simplest one. That's basically just for the camera to know when to load this object in. And this is gonna be like... I'm gonna have to change the size of this so it actually loads in when the game demands it. So, okay, instead of making this a box collider, since this goes in a circle, there's a circle collider. Trigger. Set this to like 2 by default. And object enabler. What else was there? The enemy hit. No, that's gonna be on the mace part, not on this one. Because I don't want just this whole radius to just destroy all the bullets. Okay, so let's create an empty child objects, and for now that's just gonna be the head part of it. So mace head sprite renderer. Where is this? Maces, yeah. These should be rendered over everything, so I'm gonna create a sorting group here. I'm gonna make this at layer let's do layer 4. Before I do any of the chain components, I just want to get the head part of it first. So let's make a new script. I got mac and cheese, that's nice. And scripts, obstacles, and let's do one, call it mace. Mace Nice behavior. Move this up because that's gonna be needed. And just before I do anything, okay, it does not look like it gets enabled. Or I messed something up and now that's something I need to fix before I go any further with this. Let me check this real quick. Okay. So it got disabled once, but not the second time. I don't know, just fucking what the deal with that is. I don't know, guys. But let's make this enemy with enemy default tag this as enemy. Let's make a circle collider for this. Make this a trigger, and I want this to be a little bit smaller than the actual sprite, like this. And for this, give this the enemy hit component. This can't take damage. Spawn guard, who cares? Can be touched, can deal damage. So now if I touch it, it should hurt me. Pretty self-explanatory. It blocks your bullets. And now we need to do the actual spinning part of this. So there's different ways you can do this. You could make the actual mace like a child of another object and just spin the object that is parented to around, so that then it has like an offset. I'm gonna try to do something else though. So let's start with some variables. I want the angle. Let's have this be in a range of 0 to 1. This needs to be public too, for the sake of debugging. I'm gonna have this execute in edit mode. And now we need the radius, so public float radius. It's gonna be like 10. That's basically the distance. Let's just try 5 for now. Okay, and now the actual spinning part of this. And I can do something with the for now I can just set this to be an update and then I can change it. Burritos for dinner. Okay. Haven't had a burrito in a long time. Right, so since this is going to be accounting for the chain and the actual like the head and the chain components, this needs to be like an array. So let's do a transform array. That's gonna be, just call this objects. And objects is gonna be transform get I don't think I can get all of them, so I'm gonna have to do this one by one. So objects is new transform the length of the how many children there are. And here it's gonna be for int I 0 I less than objects, the length of objects, add to this loop, and objects I is gonna be transform get child I. So I'm basically making a list of all the children. I'll probably have to move this out of start to whenever the size of this object is gonna be switched. But for now it's gonna be like this. So for int I equals 0 I less than objects length I and here's gonna be the actual moving part of this. Before I do that though, I'm gonna have the position of the center of this mace be its own value. So vector2 position, that's gonna be transform position. Have this be a vector2 as well. Here, gonna be going through all the objects, so let's do a vector2, because these are all going to be modified differently, so I need to have this be locally here. Calculate the angle here for all of them, because they're gonna have the same angle all the time. Current angle is gonna be angle multiplied by double pi. Have the radius. So here we're gonna do position.x equals position.x. We don't need to assign this here because that's gonna be redundant. Plus math cosine current angle multiplied by radius, and same for y, except you're gonna be using a sine. So we have this, we have all of the objects. Let's see if this actually works. Is this working in edit mode? Let me see. Oh, did assign the objects and everything. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't actually assign this position. So objects dot position is gonna be this local value, and now we should see something else. Okay, went somewhere. Okay, I think radius of 5 is too much. For some reason it's all the way up there. It's doing what I wanted to do, but I think I set the x value here to be, yeah, that's the issue. So I just copied and pasted it, and that made it go all the way over there. So we have our rotating mace, and I can change its distance. So what I can do now is, for the angle, and before I do that, let's do a float for speed. Set this to maybe 4. And here we're gonna do angle. I'm gonna rename this variable because that's not very intuitive. That's gonna be high angle. And that's gonna be math repeat. That's gonna be angle plus equals, or just plus time delta time multiplied by speed, and it never passes 1, so it's going to endlessly just go between 0 and 1. And if I play this now, yeah, it's spinning, definitely. Work it backwards as well. Okay. Whoa, okay. It's causing some problems when I change the radius live. It's fine, actually. This looks fine. If I lower this a little bit, it should hit the player. There we go. So let's set this to 0.5 for now. And it looks like if I... What the hell? Oh, I think that... Yeah, okay. This needs to only happen if the application is playing. Otherwise this is gonna be fucked to work with in edit mode. We have this, we have the radius. And the radius I actually need to clamp as well. And make this a float, an integer maybe. Oh no. Make this a range between 1 and 7. And since this is radius 2, I should set the radius here to be the same as in the behavior. So on start here, I will make the circle collider radius to be the same radius as in here. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be changing at runtime, so that should be fine. Something I didn't save here. Oh yeah, I was doing this, but there's no need to do this. These are not needed. Ground beef, chicken, seasoning, onion, raw tomato, avocado, grated cheese, cayenne. Sounds pretty good. close some of these scripts that I don't need. So this is fine, this is fine. Yeah, okay. But for this to be accurate, have this be done in update. Okay. Now it should be fine. So now if I edit this, you can see the range is here. Something's not getting set. Oh wait, I think I do not have the circle collider here. It should be. I mean, just something didn't get taken right. Huh. Well, this, because this is like this variable name here. It's definitely part of this script, so it should be getting that. Now it got it. Okay, I have to like make a copy and paste it. Classic. But it sort of happens when you're doing the edit mode stuff. So yeah, the radius now is accurate. This helps also see what path this is going to travel to is going to be. I think with this being the max is absolutely fine. Okay. So how now I have to figure out how to do the chain part of this. So with distance of 3, I would have to have one in the middle and 2 in the middle part here. 2D object sprites. That's gonna be. Doesn't matter what it's gonna be. I just need to have this on the scene. I need to get rid of this sorting group because only the head should be right in the front. This can be in the like this part here. I need to like figure out how this is supposed to be spaced out. So like this looks like every tile is a good distance. So one tile. So for the radius of 3, we have 3 chain components. Okay, that makes sense. And with the distance being 1, there's always going to be at least one of these chain elements. So the way this is going to work is gonna have one of these, one chain part here. I'm going to use that to generate more of the same chain type object. Left to make launch and came back to crypto core. That's how it be over here. We have the radius, we have everything. And this is something we'll have to do using onValidate. And I don't remember where I had that. I can do this. Find all references. It's going to lie to me that there's no results. I have used it somewhere, but I don't remember where. There was some object that you change. Oh yeah, yeah. I need to find how you did onValidate, because there's this Unity bug that makes onValidate useless unless you do a specific thing. And I think I just remembered where. That was in this one. Yeah. Don't worry about this. And this is going to be I can set this here and make sure this actually works. Is the music going weird for anyone else? Wobbles. Let me check on stream. It seemed fine to me. It could just be this song in particular. It is a little bit distorted. Could it be the low volume causing this partially? I was going to check if this this worked correctly. Let me save just in case, because I had a problem with this in the past that caused the whole engine to crash. Yeah. So now it's not as smooth as it used to be, but it does function correctly. This is going to be important for the actual part where I generate the chain components here. Okay. So this objects list, I'm gonna have to do this onValidate thing when it's okay. Let's just do this. If Unity editor, this is how you do like platform specific coding. You have to use these wrappers. That's gonna be float. Last radius. Last radius. What's radius? And here I'm gonna make a function for generating these. Okay, I need to put this in the wrapper too, otherwise it's gonna cause some problems when I compile this later. This position is gonna get updated too, so let's just do generate objects chain. So this actual generation part is going to be at the bottom here. Or actually, the assigning part, I mean. The position. This is actually, I should switch this, but this only matters. Well, actually, it does matter, so I should switch this up here as well. Because this only matters when the actual chain is being rotated. This also, I can get rid of this in the compiled version. Because it has to do it all the time. Okay. And we have the chain generation. So the way this is gonna work is I'm gonna take the chain component, the chain child that's always there, this one, and I'm gonna use that as basis for all the other chain parts. So have this be, take the sample chain object from child 1. So we have game object sample chain that's going to be transform get child 1 and the game object part of this. And now that we're going to be taking the radius part of this into considerations. The radius is going to be free, and that means there's going to be free chain links on this specific maze. So I hope you can hear me correctly, by the way. I'm not really that close to my mic right now. So because one is already on the scene, it's going to generate the radius number -1. So we're going to be doing for int I equals 1 is less than, and that's going to be math f dot round to integer radius I plus plus, because we're dealing with floats here, so it's not just going to be full values. So let's create another chain link. Game object instantiate sample chain position quaternion dot identity. Also, there's something else here, because I'm potentially creating like a very large amount of objects here. So before I do that, I have to do cleanup here as well. So check how many objects exist and remove as much as needed. There's like a segment I should be doing before everything else, so chain count is gonna be transform that child count -2, because we need 2 objects. Chain amount, that's gonna be gonna be this value, the radius rounded. It's gonna be -1 because the head does not count for the chain part of this. So that's all the objects. And if chain count is not equal to need is not the same, then we do the cleanup operation here. This is the cleanup part. Okay, so we have these chain links. So it's gonna add more or less depending on the. So if there's more than needed, then we do a removal operation. So if it's so the chain count is less than the needed one. This is the add operation, and this is where I will copy this part here. Move this, get the position up here. Arrangement free, okay. So that's the cleanup part. Check something real quick. Alright. So you have to, this is adding, so we have to get like the difference amount here. So difference is gonna be needed chain amount minus chain count. Okay. So let's see here. So if the radius is free, that means we need 3 chain links. Chain count in this case, if it was correct, then that would also mean there would be 4 objects, which means there would be 3, and then it would be equal, so that's fine. If it was like 5, so that would be, if 5 is, that would be removal. So if there was like 2, then that would be 3 minus 2, that would mean 1. So I would have to start from 0 here. Okay, so we got our chain created here, instantiated, everything's fine. Here's the else if chain count is bigger than the needed one. This is the removal operation. And just for the sake of this, if there's no change, then just return, as that means we don't need to change our hierarchy at all. Okay, so we got that, and we remove, we get int, just the same difference variable, except swap the values. So chain count, needed chain amount. So if like 3 are needed, but we have 5, and that's gonna be, we're gonna be removing 2 of them. So for this one, we're gonna be doing for int I equals it's gonna be transform dot child count -1, because since this start and the indexing for the transform starts from 0, the actual count value is 1 higher than what we need. So the max index would be the child count -1. That's basically what I'm doing here. I less or equal to, not difference, because that's the let's do and this here for clarity, subtract that. Right? No. Because we need, because that means we will need, like, we have 5 and we need 3. That means we subtract, we need, the difference is 2. So it would be, child count would be 6 minus 2, that's 4. And that would mean there'll be 3 chain links, so that should be fine. And we subtract here. And the reason I'm going from the back side of this is because I need to, when I remove objects, I need to basically get them from the back, or like it messes up the loop basically. You can do it, but it's sort of less reliable. So what I'm just gonna be like, destroy immediate, transform get child I. Okay, so that's the cleanup operation, and then when all of that is done, then we reassign the list of objects. So let's see how this works out now. Since I made my radius to be free, let's set this now. That's 2. Is this creating the objects? I don't think that the actual generation part was ever added to the onValidate. Yeah, that was the problem. Okay, let's see now. 4. So it does create them, but they don't get parented because I forgot to do that. No. Yeah, it does create them on the game start too, which is something I shouldn't be checking for. So yeah, the actual generation part here. Object transform set parent transform, and just for the sake of clarity, name this chain. And now it should be assigning the object correctly. Where's this chain? There we go. I'm like over there for some reason. Set this to 4. Oh, I think the distance it's being set is, oh yeah, because the I didn't get to the distance part of this yet. So okay, so we have radius 3. We have 3 chain links. Let's do 4. We have 4. Let's do 2. That's causing a problem. Okay. Please call destroy. For destroying a transform component is not allowed. Okay, so I need to specifically use destroy here. and use it on the game object and not the transform. Okay, so 4 may not be called from edit mode. I thought it wasn't, but like I wanted to make sure. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 3. That's fine. 1. Now the stress test. That concludes the stress test. Set it to like 5 for now. And now let's work on the distance that these objects are gonna be having. Okay, so generate chain. Objects are generated, and now we have to work on the actual distance these objects are gonna have. And that's gonna be the radius here. So I'm not gonna have this rotate for the first object it finds, because that's gonna be the center chain link. Let's continue the loop if the index is 1. And now this first one should not be getting changed. That's fine. Now let's work on the other chain links. Here we're gonna need to do a float, call it chain link distance. Have this be 1 by default, and actually assign it over here. So chain link distance, that's gonna be, we're gonna use the repeat value of we're just gonna use the point decimal version distance of the radius here. So we're gonna do math repeat base cruelty squad OST. Oh, yeah, not sure who added that one. I think it was Kyo. So chain link list, it's gonna be radius, length is gonna be 1. So that's our point decimal. Actually, wait, I need to check this. I think I can just do the radius and then calculate the rest by doing this. Let me just check this real quick. So it's gonna be, yeah, 0. Not exactly the accurate result I was expecting it. I guess it's close enough. If I do round, then it's gonna be fine. Okay. So math round. That should give me the accurate value. Let's actually do a seal so it's rounded to the top. So when it's a full one, it's gonna be 0, and everything else it's gonna be changed accordingly. Let's just like do this for now. So the radius, so let's do float local radius it's gonna be radius if I is greater than 1. It's gonna be for the chain link. Local radius it's gonna subtract 1. Let's try doing this with just 1 now and see how that looks. I might need to do when I do I, that I think there will be an offset issue, but let's see. So 3, so that's okay, so it needs to be I minus 1. Hello Silius. Yeah. So now we have a proper chain to this creature. It's rotating as it should be. And now we have to tackle the actual subpixel distance. So chain link distance. Chain link distance. I'm not sure if I should add or subtract this right now. It's interesting, okay. What's the value here? It's 1. Why is it 1? That should no, it's not right. I think it's the seal value here that's causing this. Might be the one that I'm subtracting is already overdoing this. It's 4, 5. Okay. What's the distance between these two? I want this distance to be equal, so let's divide this by I and see if that's actually what I need to do. Okay, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. Chain link distance. Splatoon. No, it's this, okay. Wait a second, because I can't get the distance. The radius is like 3. That's the distance. I'm like writing right now, so you can't see what I'm doing. And I can divide that by the amount of chain links. Right? So that would be like 1, right? And that should be the distance I should be subtracting. So let's do that. Instead of doing radius like this, let's do radius divided by the amount of chain links. Oh, hell yeah. Right, so that's the distance. Let's check how this is now. So that's like 338. Okay, so we have. Oh yeah, I did -2 and I should be doing -1. Because that's the amount of chains. There's a boss called Mace in Cryosphere. I didn't know that. So we do have a good distance, but I don't think it's being applied correctly. Because they're all getting that same distance applied to them. There's a formula for this that I'm not remembering right now. Makes you shit, huh? Yeah, it does. Let's do something crazy here. Let's multiply this by I. That's gonna make it fly all over the place. I just want to see what this... Yeah. I feel like I'm remembering how this formula was used to be done. I think it's because I'm subtracting something. Hang on a second. Instead of subtracting, just set this to the distance. It gets added in a very strange way. And I need to subtract 1 from this, it looks like. That makes sense, because the max value is on the mace. That seems better, except when it's like past the halfway mark. What's this distance here? It's like 0.91. This is updating. Hello. Oh wait, I think I know why. Because this is only getting updated when actual chain hierarchy changes, and that should not be where this is getting changed. This should be changing here. This is what I wanted to do. Well, this is going way beyond the limit that I set it to be. Yeah, okay. So that's the chain. And if I play this now, that seems like it's done to me. Except I forgot to do the boiling, so that's not done just yet. Do this failsafe here right now. They're stretching him, try other distances. What do you mean they're stretching him? I did try like all the ones this is designed to work with. Not sure exactly what you mean here. I'm getting some errors here. The list is empty, so let me just like do this condition here. He's like boing. It's nice. So what's not set here? I see. This, I think I should just have this set in start as well. Yeah. No, wait, that's not, it's kind of an issue. If I do this, it should be fine. Assuming it doesn't go for the second condition when it fails the first one. No, it does not. Okay, now it's fine. So you have the distance, this chain is working, everything's fine. Okay, so now we need to do the boiling part of this. So let's just close all this stuff. And this is going to be for the boiling part of the sprites. So let's do gonna be 0. Sprite. Head sprites. And another one for the chain. This doesn't need to be public, but I need to do a public float boil speed let 0.1 and have this be, let's create another array. It's gonna be all the sprite renderers in the child objects. So that's gonna be if application is playing. It's also gonna be in the Unity editor wrapper. Generate, rather assign sprite renderers so let's make this function now. So assign sprite renderers, and that's gonna be same as we did the other ones, the other list. So new sprite renderer, the distance and the length of this is gonna be just the transform child count. Now we do 4 and I equals 0, I is less than sprite renderers length I plus plus. So sprite renderers I equals transform get child I get component sprite renderer. How long have I been streaming actually? Over 2 hours right now. So that seems like a decent length when I finish this. Okay, so I have the sprite renderers assigned. All here is fine. And now we're gonna do void update sprite renderers. Boil int is gonna be repeat boil int plus 1 length of 1 length of 2 actually, because then it's gonna wrap up to wrap to 0 on 1. Now we do 4, you can do 4 each here. Sprite renderer. Actually we can't do 4 each because this is depending on which one we're doing. We can just make it so the first one is gonna be the head one. You can just assume it's always gonna be the head, because it should be. So that's gonna be the head sprites index of boil index. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Now for int I equals 1, I less than. I don't think I should be playing this one specifically though. I think someone got in trouble for doing that. Better not. So that's gonna be the length that should be dot sprite I, that spread that's equal to fuck, what was it? Chain sprites, right? Yeah. I could do something here actually, since I have I can use the index here. I can make the boil sprites different for each one, for like every even or odd chain link. So let's do like integer math.repeat two plus I %2 equals 0, or just I %2. So when it's 1, it's gonna be 1, and when it's like even, it's gonna be 0. Should make that chain link look a little bit more varied. And this is going to be called another invoke repeating function. So first of all, on disable, application is playing. That's gonna be, instead of being over here, I'm gonna say cancel invoke update sprite renderers. And likewise on enable, we're gonna have this called every time, like every boil speed seconds. Invoke repeating update sprite renderers. This time I want this to be immediate, so this boil speed, since this is also being done on enabled, I have to move assign sprite renderers out of start. And I put this. Okay, this is Splatoon. Okay, let's see. This is a mess, so I need to fix this. Assign sprite renderers. Yeah, if it's null, then assign it and then invoke repeating immediately. And we're getting to the final stages of this one. Yes, this will only play if this will only get assigned if the game is actually running. Basically, that's what application is playing means. I think this is it. This is normal mode, so let's get these sprites over here. So this one, this chain link, and the second one. Save just in case, and let's see if this works. Well, I can see boiling. And just for this to be clear. Yeah, so as you can see, every even chain link is gonna has a different boil sprite to the other one. This seems fine. Not really a fan of how these eyes are moving. It did change the pivot of one of these sprites. Might have to like change this back. Where that boil baby is now. Oh, someone stole it maybe. Probably doesn't matter because this is supposed to be like it's supposed to be moving all the time, so you're not gonna be paying that much attention to it. But let's set this to be 4. I'm gonna arrange the speed on this as well. So range -2, 2. Yeah, it's moving anyway, so who gives a shit? Yeah, I think move speed 2 is absolutely fine. Let's do -1. Like how Portal 2 music is playing for this. I have like index was outside of bounds of array. Hang on, because this is problem. What's this boil index wrapping up? Huh. It's line for why would it be? Okay, so this is a problem. It's only 0 and 1. Boiling. Maybe it does reach 2. Okay, so it's causing problems like here. So let's check it and see what exactly the problem is. Starts at 0, so where's 1 outside of bounds of the array? Huh? 0 and 1, it's very weird thing it's complaining about here. Or it's the sprite renderers that are empty. Yeah, okay, I see what the problem is. I don't know why it's like not getting them. Oh, is this empty? Is it not getting them assigned? Oh, maybe because it's not null, but it exists, so like... There we go. Now it should be fine. Yeah, now it's fine. And now we can check the speed on this. I can actually check if this will damage me. And then I can make this a prefab, and that's gonna be the stream. It's disabled. Yeah, it gets disabled when it's off screen. There's one more thing I want to do. And that is to have the angle actually reset to what it was every time you load into the scene, because I feel like that is important for it to be consistent. So let's do float float start angle. Start angle is gonna be equal to angle on start and on enable if start angle make this -1 so we have like a reference value that we can assume never will normally appear. That's gonna be angle start angle. And this will only occur if the object is being reloaded into the scene. Yeah, fucking 0.5 speed. Yeah, this is what I wanted this to act like. One more thing, have this mace when it's over here, for example. Oh, I see. I have to move the position to unvalidate as well, instead of in the generation part of this. Or rather, have this be an update. So have this here. Have the position also change in here. It's only if the application is not playing though. So place this here. Move this out of the main one onto this. Got this, and now this should be, this should follow the chain correctly, and it does. On an AVG and YTPMV. Do I not have the object enabler here? Wait, is this touching it, I wonder? Maybe it should be smaller. Okay, so it was touching the object collider. So let me see this. Huh, so the radius for this should not be the same, because the size of the object collider I think is overlapping here. For some reason the object collider is like up there. Okay, so that's I see everything. I get this. Should make the radius a little bit smaller than what it is currently. Yeah, I want some rice and potatoes. I'm gonna have like a big meal after this stream because I'm really hungry. Radius, subtract like 0.5 from this. Okay, so it does unload when it's off screen. What? Okay. That's our little mace ball. A lot of trouble for one mace ball, but we got it. I'm pretty sure that's it as far as this thing goes. Yeah, I mean, something on valet here is... Oh, this should not be... This should not be playing when the game is running. Hang on. Is playing. I can exclude these from the compiled version as well. Because who needs this shit? It's always starting from that specific point, and that's important. Oh, what the hell? I think I touched the spikes or something. So while this is on the screen, okay, yeah, now everything is fine. We got it's pretty well optimized as far as things are considered, because it doesn't regenerate these chain links every time. So that seems fine. I'm pretty happy with this. I can save this as a prefab and just have it be used wherever. I've set the default value for this to be free, and angle, yeah, angle is important. Okay, so let's just save this in here. For Mace, now I can place like a shit ton of these everywhere. Oh wait, I forgot one thing here. Wait, assign objects. Apply this. This is just so when you place this, it's always gonna be in this objects folder. Let's see what this is gonna be like, right? Because that's what coding is all about. Make this one go in the opposite direction. And let's just observe. Tell them about the results screen. What results screen? Okay, good night. Stream's like about to end anyway. I tried to crouch. Nice going, genius. The text. I mean, I think they caught on that this is randomly generated. I'm not gonna say like what the specific like things you can get are. But it is something you can modify if you were to like edit this yourself. It's like the assets, there's the text folder and there's the level complete thing over here. It's not even like I'm gonna show it because it's like basically it's like win1 is like the first one, then it's like the how it refers to you, and then like the any key one is like over here. We're gonna add more to this, so whatever. Oh yeah. I guess that's the stream. How long have I been streaming? It's like almost 3 hours. That's pretty good. That's what I was pretty much aiming for. So now maybe I can actually go for the proper stream end screen. And yeah. I'll say this was fine. I wasn't really doing anything too like complicated as far as coding goes. Yeah, thanks. Not sure how I would do this with like shit I really need to focus on, because this, even like the chain link stuff, it's not very like difficult to visualize. But there are some things that I do that I need to like sit down and like in complete silence for. So if I'm gonna do like these dev streams, I'm gonna try to make like things I can actually do on stream, obviously. But yeah, I think I can save this as a highlight and have people like look at this if they need to. If someone's interested in that. I mean, I don't know how much educational value you can get out of this because I'm not really explaining how I'm doing these things. But maybe some people like watching that kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks for coming. It was more of a success than I thought it would be. So, good night. Have a good, I guess night, day, evening, whatever time it is for you. Not sure what I'm gonna like stream next weekend. Haven't decided on it, but we'll figure something out. But for now, yeah. See ya. I gotta go get a big meal.